it's party time. My golf story brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, welcome to the program. We got a good one for you. It is our youngest guest ever, and it's our first Danish guest. Somebody from Denmark, 16-year-old Max Bendixen. If you haven't heard his name yet, I think you will. You're certainly going to remember his story and who he is after I talk about how I met him, just what his goals in life are, his family story, where he came from, coming to America to pursue the dream at a young age. And when I tell you he is all in, he is all in. He is like the perfect person for the podcast. It's Party Time, My Golf Story, because his story is what we were looking for when we created the podcast all along. The dreamers, those that are chasing the dream, that will stop at nothing, that put in the hard work, the practice, the sacrifice, whatever it takes. Max Bendixen. Before we get to that, I thought it would be appropriate to give you a business update on what's going on with our podcast. You're probably listening on Spotify or Apple right now. Most of our viewers and listeners have been on YouTube. And if you've been wondering, well, where did that go? Our channel has been canceled for reasons that we don't completely understand. It's not that we did anything terrible from what and we're appealing that. We're going to try and get back on YouTube. But it appears we may have shared a video that we weren't supposed to do. And this was an innocuous video. This was video of like the snack stand at Augusta National or something like that. And it was posted on somebody else's account, and we just simply shared it because it looked like good golf content. And maybe that's it. We're not really sure. But appreciate you sticking with us, because we're going to continue this on Spotify and Apple, just as is. Same premise, good guests, good content, good conversation. That's the best we can do. And I appreciate you sticking by us until then. Would you do me a favor? If you haven't done it already, would you like the podcast on either Apple or Spotify and subscribe? That's very helpful to us. And for all the people, the 130,000 plus views, the 3,300 subscribers that we had on YouTube, come on over to the next thing. We should be back up on YouTube, and it'll be just like it was from the very beginning. At least that's what we hope. And a big thanks to our title sponsors, Party Drinks. If you're looking for an alternative beverage on the golf course and you're tired of that drink that's named after the time of day or whatever, and try a High Noon. For golfers, by golfers, absolutely smooth, the perfect tonic. It's not a tonic. It's a cocktail on a warm summer day or whatever. As we enter the golf season in the northern climates, it's summer all season long in Florida. And also, if your dream is to be a homeowner in beautiful Southwest Florida, especially around the Sarasota area, the Golf Pro team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh from suncoastdreams.com. Check them out at suncoastdreams.com, or you can call them at 941-220-4000. Nobody better to get you in a great place like Lakewood National, where we broadcast from. And so that's it. All right, enough about that. Let's bring the man of the hour on board, Max Bendixen. Hey, man, I've been chasing you for a long time. We've been trying to get this taken care of for, I don't know, like a month or whatever. Yeah. But what do you say we go back to the beginning and just how we met? So I'm going to tell the story, and then I want your reaction to us meeting and when I asked you to be a guest on the program. Sound good to you?
Yes.
Okay. So I was rolling some putts on the putting green at Lakewood National Golf Club, and I see this kid on the putting green doing aim point, had some putting aids and everything, yet he's making everything. And so I came over and I introduced myself, and so we've been friends ever since. Does that sound about right to you, Max?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. So the aim point thing, well, first of all, we'll get into that in a second. Let's go back to the beginning. You're from Denmark, right?
Yeah. So I was born in Copenhagen, Denmark, and have lived there for the most of my life. I have lived in Germany too, down south, but yeah, mostly Danish.
What is golf like in Denmark? I know about the Højgaard brothers, but
Yeah.
how good is it, and who else should we know about Danish golfers?
I mean, golf is it's not the same as here. Like, it's during the summer it gets really dry because some courses don't really water their fairways. It's like completely different than here, and it's usually not as nice as here. I mean, there are some courses, but the level of golf there is just not the same. But a name to remember there, Thomas Brown. He's old,
Yes.
but he was good. Yeah.
So he's really like the godfather of Danish golf, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. One of them. Yeah.
You followed his career. Who was your inspiration into getting into golf? And then we'll back it up and talk about your entry point.
Yeah. So, I mean, professional golfers, there's this guy that played in my academy in Denmark. His name was Marcus Hellekiel. It's kind of a difficult name to say in English, but he played in the academy that I did, and he like slowly worked his way up to the DP World Tour, and he's playing on that now, and he's doing really good, making cuts. He's been contending a couple times, and yeah, he's really inspired me.
What about Tiger? I'm sure Tiger had something to do with it.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger and really started playing golf, and I was watching Tiger, and like I was impressed, like how he was just winning everything. Like, he was crazy.
Max Bendixen is our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story. 16-year-old golfer plus .27 handicap. Some of the if you could only see it when we get back on YouTube, maybe you will, but he's a plus 2.7. 16 years old. Tell me about your neighborhood and your family, because I want to feel like I was your neighbor and I'm looking in on you guys. What was it like? Yeah,
so as our neighbors, they probably hear a lot of noise. We're a big family. I have 3 siblings, and my parents, me and my brother stay downstairs. We try and stay away from the trouble. It gets loud in there, and me and my brother are very competitive. So whenever we do something together, it can get a little heated.
Okay, so it's full on competition in the house.
Yeah.
I think there's an ignition source behind that. Who is it? Is it your mom or your dad, and who are they?
Definitely my dad. He's been a athlete his whole life. He was a swimmer in college and a professional bikeless. So, and he still rides his bike a lot. He's very competitive. He sometimes joins in on me and my brother's competitions.
Now, what's it like for your mom? Your mom is not athletic like the rest of you guys. Is she like a referee breaking stuff up? Because this is kind of sounding like my household growing up. Give me a feel.
Yeah, she kind of like, she hates to deal with it, but yeah, she like kind of sometimes has to break it up. And like my dad, he sometimes thinks it's funny, but my mom, she doesn't really like it.
Well, because she's the mom. She's the nurturer. She's got to be the peacekeeper of it.
Yeah.
So take me back. When did you first start playing golf, and what was really the impetus behind that?
So I've always my grandpa, he's played golf, and I've always gone like sometimes to driving ranges with him. But when I lived in Germany, my friend, he was playing golf, and he invited me out on the golf course to play one day. So then he took me out there, and I just really liked it. And so from there on, my grandpa, he really like helped me getting into it, and like bought me clubs, and he took me to this big field in Germany, soccer field, and we would hit balls and go pick them up and then hit them again. And we would do that all the time when he visited me.
And how old were you then?
I was 8 years old, 8 and 9.
Okay, so even at that point, you're falling in love with the game. You want to do more of it, but are you starting to dream about bigger and better things?
I would say I started to dream about like really getting good at golf when I moved back to Denmark when I was like 10 years old, because I played soccer when I just started playing golf, and I liked soccer back then, but I kind of fell off on that, and then I really just picked up golf, and it was on my mind the whole day.
All right. And it's a huge part of your life right now. It's a big part of coming to America. But before we get to that, explain the Denmark-Germany situation, because for most Americans, we're born here, we stay here. It's a little bit different in Europe. Like, how did you end up in Germany, and for how long? What was going on behind the scenes?
So my dad, he had this job, and it's called Fisher, and he got an offer for the same company, but it was in Germany. I think it was like a higher job in that company. And so my parents were like, well, let's move down there for a certain amount of time. They didn't know how long time we were going to live there when we moved. But so we moved down there from when I was 6 years old. That was in 2013 or 14. And then we moved back when I was 10 years old in 2017 or 18. And I mean, we're in that area. We're pretty much like the only people that have moved. Like, we still, like, all our neighbors, we moved back to the same house in Denmark. All our neighbors were pretty much still there.
Got it. But as far as like where you started taking instruction and you're just like, I really want to build on this. How old were you then, and how did that process start?
I was 10 years old, but I was also taking lessons in Germany, but there I wasn't really taking it serious. I was just going, having fun. I still do have fun, but like, as soon as I came to Denmark, I was like, my dad, he found this golf club that's like 10 minutes away from where I live. And I would go up there every day. I would take the bus if I had to. Public transport is really good there. So thankfully I have that if my parents can't take me.
So I'm fascinated by the just packing up and moving to a different country and then moving back.
Yeah.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak 3 languages, English and Danish, like, mostly. And I mean, German is kind of falling off a little bit, but I would still be able to have a conversation.
Tell me, I ask this of multilingual people because I'm proficient in Spanish, but I translate and think in English. Where are you in that? Like, when you're speaking one language, are you thinking in it, or is there one that's stronger than the other in your head?
It's funny. I've actually been asked this question a lot. So, I mean, on the golf course, when I'm thinking, it's usually in Danish, since I also do meters. And like, so I just think everything in like European, Danish, meters, kilometers, everything. So mostly Danish, but like, if I'm like talking with people and then thinking like what to say, I would probably think in English.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how's your golf now? Where are you? You just came off a pretty good, successful run. You won more than 20 junior tournaments all across the world, including where we are in Lakewood Ranch. And then I'll get into the Lakewood Ranch story, how you ended up here. But what's the state of your game right now?
Right now, I'd say it's pretty good. I'm pretty much changing out my whole bag in the clubs. I'm still hitting them well, but my weakest part right now is probably my putting. It really hurts me on the golf course sometimes.
Okay, so that's what you were working on when we first met. But you're rolling everything in.
Yeah.
Aim point. We could get lost. I mean, I know it's very involved, but why did you go there, and what did it do for you?
So I'd always just like went down, like read the greens and stuff like that, and I kept missing. So I felt like something had to change, and I talked to my coach, who is over in Country Club East, and he introduced me to Aim Point. He's very good at it, certified in it. And so I just started using that. I've already like learned the basics of it in my academy in Denmark. So yeah, and he just like told me like what to do, and like, yeah. And so then I just started using it. It actually helps me a lot. Like it has changed my putting.
Right, because now you feel like you have the break and you can just focus on making a good stroke, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. For those that are not familiar with the Sarasota area, when Max is talking about Country Club East, he's talking about Lakewood Ranch Country Club, right? I got that right?
Yes.
Okay, it's across the street. We live here. Well, you only for a couple more days because you got to go back to Denmark.
Yeah.
But how did you end up at Lakewood National and then Lakewood Ranch High School?
Yeah, so that was actually like a almost random part, because I had a couple places that I was looking at. I was looking very much at Riverview High School and like staying in that area. but there were like no families that from like the golf team that I could stay at. So I didn't have anywhere to stay. And then I was looking at IMG and Academy in North Carolina. I was talking a lot with them too, and my dad was talking with them. Then my uncle, he came and saved me, and it was like I could move to Lakewood National, and you could live with me, and then you could go to Lakewood Ranch High School. And so we said yes, and it just all worked out perfectly.
Oh, hold on. I didn't know all that. I knew you lived with your uncle here at Lakewood National Golf Club, but he orchestrated the move. He got residency here.
Yeah, because he actually lived in Washington, D.C.
Oh, holy smokes! This is a big family effort.
Mm-hmm.
So how long ago was that? You're leaving in a couple of days. That's why we're recording now. Let me timestamp it. It's Sunday, June 16th, 2024, Father's Day. But when are you out of here? In a couple of days?
Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday, June 18th.
Okay. So when did you come to Lakewood Ranch?
I came here August 8th.
August 8th. Okay. And you spent, so what's it like for a Danish kid who had some time in Germany ending up at an American school? Like, is it cool? Is it different? You tell me.
I mean, it's really cool because like over in Europe, everybody talks about the American high school and like how cool it is and the big yellow buses that take you to school. But when I came here, I was like so surprised. It's so different. Like just from the school, like to the lunch breaks, everything is completely different.
Is it fun? I take it you're glad you came.
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah, the golf experience, but I mean the education and just making new friends.
Yeah, it's all been great. Like I couldn't imagine it being better.
So the dream was like once you started taking golf pretty seriously, you felt like I got to get to America. That's the way forward. Am I right with that?
Yes. I mean, golf over here, like just from being here a year, I've already seen that it's like completely different than it is over there. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad over there, but over here, like you can get places like easily.
Yeah, competition's better. You have lots of opportunity, playing stuff. The weather's perfect.
Yeah.
What's it like in the summer though? Because you guys are higher up on the globe. Like, I mean, will you play until almost midnight, or are you that into it?
Me and my friends after practice, our practices would end at like 6:30, and we would go off and tee off at 7:00 and play 18 holes, and it wouldn't get dark till like 11. So we would stay out there all day from after school.
Yeah, that's cool. Max Bendixen is our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, give Party a shot. It's a lot better than that drink named after the time of day. Not for you yet, Max. You got to wait a couple of years before you start indulging in that. And also a big thanks to the Golf Real Estate Pros, Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro, suncoastdreams.com. If your dream is to live in the Sarasota area, and there's no better place. I mean, Max could tell you that. I mean, he loves it. He wants to come. He's got to go home, but he's probably going to come back, right?
Yes, I want to come back for college.
Got it. Okay, we're going to get into that. Suncoastdreams.com, Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh take good care of you. No better place than Lakewood National. So let's talk about the college stuff. I know you want to build a game because you want to have a professional game. I mean, you really want to chase it, but let's work in order. What is you're 16? You just finished your freshman year or your sophomore year?
My sophomore year.
Okay. Are we having contact with coaches, and what's the dream there?
Yeah. So yesterday was actually the first day that colleges were allowed to talk to me. I received 5 emails and text messages from colleges, and I'm still replying to some of them because I got to tell them that I'm going to be in Denmark the next 3 years. I'm going to be a 2027 graduate when I go back to Denmark. So I kind of have one more year of high school.
Who's contacting you? Can you get into it?
USF, UCF, and UNF, and then UNC Charlotte, and Oh, there was one more. Oh, in Richmond. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the dream is eventually to come back here full time, really, to go to college, work on your game, and springboard a professional career. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Florida State contact you yet? I know that's
not yet. Hopefully someday.
You going to send the coach a link to this podcast and say, "Hey, this is who you could have."
I will.
All right. Let's advance it beyond college. So you'll end up at the place you need to be, right?
Yeah.
But this is it. I mean, you want to be a pro golfer. You're not. How important is education to you? Because I know, kind of like, in America, it's all about college golf. Go to college golf.
Yeah.
Europe a little bit different. I mean, we can go on down the list of different people. Like Rory didn't go to college. It just doesn't seem to have kind of the, for lack of a better word, importance in Europe. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so in Europe, it's definitely not as common to go to college or university as it is here, even though it's free. Like, you pay it through taxes. So like, you could go to university and college over there for free. But what athletes over there want to do is come over here and go to college in the US. But that's what my plan would be, coming over here.
Let me take you back to high school. I forgot to ask you this a moment ago. How good was the team at Lakewood Ranch High School?
The team was great. Like, I'm really lucky that I ended up on that team, and there are players that are better than me, and it's great to play with people that are better than you, so they can you can fight to get up to their level, and you'll do the best you can to get up to their level. And there are some high schools around me that are really not at our high school level. So the fact that I ended up at that high school, I'm very happy for, and it's great coach and really, really good setup we have there.
Do you think playing with good players, your game got quite a bit better coming over here? Do you think that was the pressure and just day-to-day practicing and competing with your teammates?
Yeah, I always recommend play with people that are better than you. So you'll get to their level if you play with people that are better than you. And when I got over here, I was really bad. Like, I was having trouble with the grain of the grass. I was really struggling, but it's gotten a lot better now.
Yeah, it's golf. The grass is green, but Bermuda greens are totally different than bent and rye and what most people are putting on in different places. Let me ask you this, Max. Did you take in the Corn Ferry Tour event, the Suncoast Classic that was here a month and a half ago?
Yes, I was watching the last couple holes of the last day. I actually had a tournament that weekend, sadly, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. But the stuff that I saw, I was really impressed. I saw the winner win in I think it was the third playoff hole. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, I was there for that. So what did that do for you? Did you, because you hit it, what's your stock drive? How far do you hit it off the tee?
294 is my average.
290
yards.
Dialed in. But you can dial it up. You got a different gear. You can get it north of 300 just with a little more effort.
If I push it a little bit, I can get it up there.
But tell me this. Could you see yourself fitting in and saying, all right, they've got some polish, they've got experience, but was there something inside you that said, they're not doing something that I'm not really doing? Tell me about it.
I mean, I have rounds where I make a lot of birdies. Especially in that tournament that they just played at here, they made a lot of birdies. I think the winner was 24 under, which is a lot on 4 rounds. But I could definitely see me making those birdies. And I mean, they really didn't play that long of a tee. I think the cut was 5 under, and every time I go out there and play, I play the exact same way the Corn Ferry does, and I just see how I am compared to them. Right.
So that's got to be a confidence boost. Hey, I can do some of this stuff, but there's probably some motivation too. When you look at elite golfers, What's missing from your game where you're like, I need that to get to the next level?
I would definitely say my putting and my iron shots. Like it's kind of like that combination. If I can hit my irons just a little bit closer and then make the putts, like that would drop my score a lot.
What's the lowest round you ever shot? Competition or socially?
Competition is 5 under at a golf club in Denmark called Hilo Golf Club. I don't know.
Say it one more time.
Hilo Golf Club.
Okay. What was that day like? Do you remember it shot for shot and trying to get it in?
I remember the first hole, I just barely saved a par. And I was like, it's just really going to be one of those days like where I'm going to have to struggle. And after that, I went birdie and I just went off. Like I remember I was playing with like 2 people that I knew because in the golfing in Denmark, you pretty much know everybody. So I was playing with 2 people that I knew and they were like, you're just making everything. And then on the last hole, I was actually 6 under and I had like, it was, I don't know what it was in feet, but it was like 10 to 11 meter putt for birdie. And I 3-putted it, almost 4-putted it. And I sadly finished off with a bogey. I could have been 6 under. I wasn't happy about that, but with my final round, I was happy.
I got you. But what was going on that final hole? Did you lose some concentration? Did you get nervous? Be honest.
Yeah, I definitely lost concentration. I was thinking, I'm gonna go into the clubhouse and I'm leading. I just wasn't focusing on what I was doing right now.
And then when it was done, you're happy about the score, but there's got to be a little disappointment. Where are you in your head at that point?
I mean, I was just like, I was happy and everybody was saying congratulations to me. And I was like, yeah, thank you. And then I just remember if I just hadn't 3-putted, but that's just golf. Like you always have somewhere out on the course where you could have saved a stroke or 2. That's just how it is.
Well, I know you love golf, but there's very few competitive golfers that I've known that haven't hated the game at a time because it can beat you up. It could be a single moment like not really getting that round in nice and clean, or just at times like, maybe when you're really struggling with your putting before you went to aim point. Did you ever hate the game? Do you ever hate it at times?
Yes, I sure do. I hate the times the days where you just can't hit the ball well, and like the times where the ball just won't drop, it keeps slipping out. And if you can get through those times though, if you have enough passion and you can get through that, it's going to be okay. Like,
tell me this though. Do you sometimes bring the golf course home with you? Do you know what I mean by that question?
Yes, I know what you mean. When after tournaments with me and my dad, the car rides have sometimes been quiet. I just haven't felt like talking about it. I was just like, why did I play like that? I was just like sad, kind of like I didn't know what happened. And like it hits me really hard sometimes, especially when like you're putting in a lot of work and you just really want to see the good results, and sometimes you just don't come.
Mm-hmm. How do you get away from it? Because it's such a consuming game. I know you're putting in work off the golf course. I've seen you in the gym lifting weights. You got golf specific exercises. Are you doing any psychological stuff, mental side of the game? What's happening off the golf course? Or do you sometimes just shut off the golf machine and you just get back to being a 16-year-old kid?
Yeah, sometimes after bad tournaments, I have like just taken a day off where I just go. Since I've lived here, I've been fishing a lot with my friends. Fishing and basketball is pretty much what I do if I don't like do golf or go to the gym or something like that. Then I'll just like take my mind off golf after a bad tournament, go fishing or play basketball.
That is such a golf thing. I mean, because all golfers, they like fish and hunt. Where are you fishing? Are you fishing for bass on the golf course, or are you going out in the ocean?
So I usually go bass fishing with my friends. We would always go like after school, and then we would go get food after. I wasn't really good at it, but it was still fun to hang out with my friends. I have been out in the ocean too, and like rivers, but I don't usually do that.
Yeah. All right, Max. I appreciate things. So you're on a plane going back home, and you're gonna are you gonna like try and come back from time to time to visit your uncle just to knock some rust off in the cold months and everything? What's that plan?
Yeah, so my grandparents, they actually live out on Lido Key, so we usually go to them like once a year and stay by them, and I come over here and practice and play. It'll definitely be easier for me to get on golf courses and like play with my friends now on golf courses since I know them. Like I know people here in the area now.
Yeah. So what's the transition going to be like, do you think, going back to Danish high school after you had a taste of Americana?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be surprised again, like because here I think I've gotten too used to being here now.
Well, I think this is where you want to be ultimately, because it seems like the path to the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, whatever unfolds for you is, I mean, all roads go through Florida, don't they, with golf?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it sure seems like it.
All right, man. Let's keep in touch. I wish you nothing but success. Take care of the classroom. Send this podcast around the golf coaches and let them know that they're missing something. We'll see if we can get that Florida State coach to give you a ring, because you know what? I think that would make your dad happy and probably your mom as well, because then they got a reason to go back to the alma mater, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Max Bendixen has been our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story. Big thanks to him, and a big thanks to our title sponsors, Party Drinks. If you're looking for an alternative on the golf course, Party is for you. And also a big thanks to the Golf Real Estate Pros, Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh, a division of Fine Property, suncoastdreams.com. Come live in golf paradise where Max spent the last year and where I live right now, Lakewood National Golf Club, Sarasota area. For Max Bendixen, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on It's Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the Golf Real Estate Pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bendixen, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.